It is not every day in the media world where somebody like myself, a blowhard, gets the opportunity to say that they were right. I told you so. And they don't take that opportunity because this is a story. This is a moment that I don't think is something that anybody should gloat about, should be happy about, should be trying to say scoreboard about. And we're going to get all into the Lonzo Ball official news of him being shut down in just a little bit here on the Sports Cubicle. It's the marvelous one, Dan Marver, Devin Tingle, Paul Chivari, and myself, Mike Mercado. And this comes to us from our friends over at The Athletic by Darnell Mayberry. The Chicago Bulls have shut down point guard Lonzo Ball for the remainder of the season as he continues to deal with discomfort in his left knee, the team announced Tuesday. Here's what you need to know. One, Ball hasn't played this season following his latest knee surgery in September of 2022. And two, the 25-year-old took to court on January 14th, 2022, before being diagnosed with a small meniscus tear and bone bruise. He's undergone 2 surgeries since. Here's what the Bulls said. Quote, despite making significant increases in strength and function over the past several months, Bulls guard Lonzo Ball continues to experience performance limiting discomfort during participation in high level basketball related activities, said Bulls executive vice president Arturas Karnisovas. Quote, considering the required time period to achieve the necessary level of fitness to return to play and the current stage of the NBA season, Ball will not return this season. The focus for Ball will continue to be on the resolution of his discomfort and a full return for the 2023-2024 NBA season. And just a little bit more backstory if you haven't heard, and I suggest you guys check out the entire article over at The Athletic. But just a quick backstory. After initial surgery on January 20th, 2022, the team gave Ball a 68-week timeline, but he missed the Bulls' remaining 47 regular season games and the playoff games of the 2021-2022 season. 7 weeks later, Coach Billy Donovan said Ball was still having discomfort in his left knee because of the bone bruise. And at that point, we knew that the other surgery was coming. And check out the entire article over at The Athletic by Darnell Mayberry. Bulls shut down Lonzo Ball for the rest of season. What's the concern level around his development? I think this is just one of those rare moments where even if you saw it coming, even if you were someone like me or Marvelous over the last few months, even since last season, not sure if he was going to play, you didn't want to be right. You shouldn't want to be right about this situation, this injury. Lonzo Ball plays the game the right way. He's a student of the game. He plays hard. He cares about his teammates. He tries to stay under the radar. And he's just been dealt a tough card, a tough hand when it comes to his injuries. He hasn't played a full season. And the one season that he played a lot of games in, I think it was only like 60 games, it was the prove it year so that he would want and have teams coming after him. I think more than anything, you see how big of an impact, how much the front office really entrusted, believed, and built this roster around Lonzo Ball. And what frustrates me more than anything is knowing the possibility that Lonzo wasn't going to play this season. Let's just put everything on the table, okay? Best case scenario, he was healthy, wasn't feeling any discomfort, there wasn't a bone bruise. He was going to play this season. He wasn't going to play all 82. He wasn't going to play 72. He wasn't going to play 62. He's just not built that way. 25 years old, he's got a lot of time still to change that perception. But as of right now, that's just what it is. One of your abilities is availability. And he's just shown that that's just something that he can't have at that type of level that many times. So you go into the season signing a Dragic, but you don't bring anybody to really put that team together. A point guard to do that. A point guard to manage your roster, the offense, the defense. You didn't bring anybody in. You didn't bring anybody to facilitate the offense between two ball dominant shooters, stars in this league in DeMar and Zach. Mark Eversley and AK knew that going into the season. It's a team that has a whole lot of guards and not a lot of point guards. This team needed somebody who could run the transition, who could set up the offense, who will play defense. And we talked about it last week. You know, we just had the All-Star game, and DeMar, one of the only players who played hard. We hung with Giannis and LeBron and Kyrie and some of these other dudes, but it is frustrating more than anything. I'm not going to give Lonzo a hard time for this. He knows when his body's ready to play, and I want him out there when he's ready to play, when he's going to be an asset to this team and his teammates. You don't want him out there at 60%, 70%. Why are you going to do that? Why would you do that to another human? And then why would you put your organization in that spot? But you needed to do something. So even though I'm not blaming Lonzo, you should have awareness and done anything you could to get a point guard in this team that isn't Kobe White or Ayo. Ayo, a second-round pick, a sophomore in this league, trying to still figure out everything. Kobe White, we know, can drop 20 points, 30 points, go on a crazy hot streak from the three-point arch. We know he can go crazy. He's not going to be your starting point guard. Dragic is too old. Caruso is going to do that, and Caruso is going to be injured too because of the style of basketball he plays. So it's just going to keep coming back to this over and over again. What did you do this trade deadline? What did you do this past offseason? What are you doing now? With all these uncertainties, all these injuries, and you didn't make any move. You didn't do it. Patrick Beverley's nice. We'll talk about Patrick Beverley throughout the show. And I think he is going to be a spark. But if your team needs Patrick Beverley to come in, not to help you get over the hump, not to fix a leak that you have on the ship, but to be a motivator, to be the spark, the fire under the butts of these players, you have an issue. You're not a good team. You shouldn't be sitting here trying to get into the play-in and just to get mollywopped by Milwaukee. Like that's where it's frustrating. And that's where you can blame the front office. That's where you should blame the front office. What do you do at this point? Where do you go at this point? Next offseason, the Chicago Bulls are going to do the exact same thing they did this offseason. They're going to go all in on Lonzo Ball again. And look, he'll probably play next year. Or, and it's maybe not as likely, but it is a possibility, he ends up like Brandon Roy. All the talent in the world, all the potential in the world, all the respect among the league, all the want from the league to be great, the body may not be able to handle it. And what do you do then? What do you do with Vucevic being a free agent? Are you going to be the only team in on him? What are you going to do with DeMar and Zach? Are you just in this for 2 home playoff games? Heck, you might not even get that. You might not get past the play-in. What is the goal for this team? Mind you, while you're doing all that, you still have a reputation you got to get the stank off of. You know, DeMar helps, Vooch helps, giving Zach the contract helps, Patrick Beverley coming in helps. But you got to make sure that you don't deteriorate any type of notion or reputation that you're building to be pro player, to bring them in. Where is this team going to be when Anthony Edwards is available or when somebody needs to leave Phoenix? How are they going to get draft picks back? How are they going to put themselves in a position to get a true top tier star? Zach is nice. DeMar is nice. But you've seen what this team is with those guys being ball dominant, and yet not having Lonzo Ball is the reason why your team took that huge spiral at the end of the second half of last year. We're not talking about Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Trae Young, any of these other point guards. Lonzo's a nice player, but what does that say about the roster you built? And you get him back. What's your answer to Giannis, to Embiid, to Tatum? Give me the answers. I know it's hard. I know if it were easy, we'd all be general managers. But these are the frustrations when you hear what a good guy, a good player like Lonzo's going through, and he's going to get a brunt of this heat when the front office didn't do their due diligence and make sure they had some type of backup plan. But we'll see how the Patrick Beverley signing does through the next few 24 games. And we'll see what kind of fit he is. We know Zach wants to play with them. So I'm very interested to see how this all comes out. But we want to know your thoughts. We're on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Officially, Lonzo Ball has been shut down for the rest of the season. Will he play next season? Will he play again? What will the Bulls do at the point guard position going into this offseason? Let us know your thoughts. We're on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. It's the marvelous one, Dan Marver. It's Devin Tingle. It's Paul Chivari. I'm Mike Mercado.